Hey, you. Yeah, you. Do you like cracking into curious creatures? Perhaps you ponder the paranormal. Have you ever got a hankering for the haunted? Ever entertained the existence of extraterrestrials? Or have you ever just wanted to hear genuine encounters of any kind? If you have answered yes to any of these questions, then Cryptids, Creeps, and Conspiracy Podcast is right up your alley. So grab your sense of humor and open your mind as we take a journey to uncover the mysteries behind kooky critters, spooky specters, enigmatic entities, and the controversial conspiracies that surround them. Buckle up because we're going to have a good time.
Welcome to the What the Fuck Is That podcast, where we ask the age-old question of what the fuck is that? I'm your host, Jess.
I'm Jen.
And we're back, baby. We actually did a banter this time.
No. Remember, the doll stole it.
Oh, yes. It was the doll. My bad. And then I was looking through this episode because we had recorded it so far in advance. I was like, oh, it has banter. And then I was still pregnant, and you still hadn't finished all your board testing. So I'm like, fuck that noise. Let's just do something different.
Yeah, that's a little outdated.
Just slightly. So I'm like, let's see. Let's change this a bit.
Yeah, because you are definitely not pregnant anymore. Chi-Chi Boy has been here for about 3 months now. Almost 3 months.
Just about, yep.
And then I've been a licensed PTA for 3 months now. Yeah, so.
Fucking crazy. But yeah, 3 months into having the kid, you're doing your whole thing. It's wild, but here we are, and we're not dead.
No, unfortunately. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, which is like the optimal goal, but like.
I saw a TikTok the other day where it was this woman saying that she talked to her other two sisters, and they were talking about like how they, when they're 65, so I'm assuming they're about 30s, right? And this woman goes, okay, oh God, no, could you imagine living for another 30 years? And it's like, that's my thought.
I have existential crises sometimes where I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like, wait, I'm 28. I'm good.
Yeah, we're turning 29 this year, dude. Can you imagine?
Okay, you're done talking now.
I mean, we're going to stop at 29 for me, I think.
I think that's good. I think 20s is good. But like, I've heard you peak in your 30s. Like, everyone that I talk to, they're like, oh no, wait until you're 30. And I'm like, okay, why? Do I get like a fucking medal and an award and then my own margarita machine? Like, what happens when I turn 30?
Yeah, see, I hear that same thing too. And I have a friend who, in the new place that I moved to for my job, she is almost 10 years older than me. And it's her favorite number. She says that she's going to stay that age, and it's just going to be 37 plus 1 or plus whatever, right?
There you go. That works.
So you can technically stay the age that you want to. So I might steal that from her, to be quite honest.
I mean, that works. Oh, but speaking of birthdays, dude, I found this out the other day, and it blew my fucking mind. All horses have the same birthday.
What?
I know. So regardless of when a horse is born, its birthday is January 1st.
But why?
So I asked my partner about it because he's a big equestrian guy, like, and I was like, why is this a thing? Like, it's, first of all, is this a thing? And he goes, yes. And then looked at me like I was crazy. I'm like, no, this is not common knowledge.
No,
it
is
guy.
not.
Please explain. And I guess it's just to make things like more consistent, so you don't, like, when they go between like people, you don't have to consistently keep the date. You can just say, oh, they're 3 years old.
I mean, I guess that makes sense, but that's...
But also, it's fucking
weird.
weird.
That is. That's a little weird that all horses have the birth date of January 1st.
What made me feel bad is that I found this out on January 2nd. I didn't say happy birthday to a single horse on January 1st.
I mean, I did not either.
I know. It's very upsetting. Those poor
I know.
horses.
They deserve to be told happy birthday. Happy belated birthday to all horses, man.
Literally every single horse. It's so ridiculous to like think about.
Honestly, I'm recording this with people in the other room, and I'm wondering if they can hear the conversation we're having and wondering.
Oh, this is the most mild conversation that we've ever had.
Yeah.
Like,
this is, I'm not going to lie. So, you know.
Yeah. It's pretty wholesome, surprisingly enough.
That's typically not our regularly scheduled program is wholesomeness, but, you know, here we are.
Well, we're about to get into a not so wholesome episode, so I just had to add the little wholesomeness in just right at the tip top, so you get a little bit of wholesome, and then you'll go, what the fuck?
Well, I mean, I guess we should all appreciate that, right?
Yep. And so with that being said, if you like whatever the fuck this is, be sure to head over to our Instagram. Our Instagram is WTFisthatpod. Over there you will find the link to our link tree, which has all of the links to all of our pretty little link trees. Oh, and by the way, we started a whole podcast network that has our podcast and another podcast that's coming out soon, so be sure to check that out as well while you're over there. And just while you're looking at all the things, be sure to go over to all the links for all of our social media and all of the places to listen to us and give us a like and a review, and let all of the podcasting video listening gods know that you love us and you think other people would like us too. And just if you're hanging out and you happen to see a horse and tell it happy birthday, remember it's a belated happy birthday because they all have a birthday of January 1st. And then the horse people at the place are like, hey, how'd you learn about that? And you're like, oh, from my favorite podcast, WTF is that? It's about weird spooky shit. And they go, I like weird spooky shit. And then people learn about it. And you learned a fun fact about horses today. And with that being said, let's head into this week's episode.
Did you mean equestrians?
I think I meant farmers.
Oh.
Is that what takes care of horses?
No, equestrians, babe.
Equestrians ride horses.
Not always.
Yeah.
No, because I mean, they have to have handlers. You're thinking of the jockeys.
I think
right. You're thinking of like jockeys.
No, those are the people that run them. And,
yeah, exactly.
Races.
But equestrians are like people who own horses and love horses, and
I don't know. I'll ask my
there
horse
you go.
man.
I'm pretty sure it's equestrian. Horseman. Sounds like you're dating a hybrid.
Half horse, half man. All lover.
Ew. That was even bad for you.
First thought, best thought.
Hey, Jen.
Hey, Jess.
Have you ever heard of the Warrens?
Who the fuck are the Warrens?
Thanks for asking. I would love to tell you.
I actually know who they are.
I mean, I would hope so. If we have this podcast and you don't know what the Warrens are, I'd be like, bitch, what?
Yeah, that'd be a little crazy.
Yeah, I'd be like, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean? What does it mean? What does it mean?
Now that we got all the TikTok sounds out of the way.
Okay. There has to be one an episode. Would it be
you?
Me? If there wasn't
I was going to say you.
If there wasn't at least one TikTok sound per episode?
This is true.
Is it even a topical one that's trending right now?
No.
No, but it will always be funny.
Yeah, no matter what. There's always a TikTok sound.
Yeah. Just
mostly from you.
Yeah. Just like there are Vines that will always be funny, there will always be TikTok sounds that will always be funny.
Can you believe that there are people out there who have no idea what Vines are?
That's insane.
Oh my God. I got sent a TikTok that it was like, one day we're going to have to explain to our kids that we're older than AI. And mind you, the person who sent this to me is younger than me. Okay, younger than us. She's like 23, 24. Okay? I had to explain that, bitch, I'm older than Google.
Yeah.
like it's not just gonna be that I'm explaining to my kids one day that I'm older than AI or whatever new technology comes by the time that I fucking have kids. It's gonna be that I'm older than Google.
Here's the other topical thing. My sister had to learn about 9/11 in a textbook in high school because she wasn't born yet.
How is it that we've gone through so many historical events and we're only 28?
Yeah, we're going to have to explain the pandemic to the kid because Moo was only 6 months old.
Yeah.
Bubs was born during it.
Yeah, like a year later.
No, a couple months after because his was October 2020.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so we're going to have to explain that to the kids because they're going to be like, what the fuck do you mean you just stayed home? And it's like, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I forget that she was born in 2019, not 2020.
Yeah, she was 6 months old.
Yeah.
When it started.
Wow.
Fucking wild. Okay, well, let's get into these other wild people that I cannot wait to explain to my kids when they're older.
We should make like a Warren's children book.
P is for poltergeist. Poltergeist. Okay, so let's start off with my favorite of the duo, the better of the two, Miss Lorraine Warren herself.
Yes.
So she was born Lorraine Rita Warren on January 31st, 1927.
That's funny. Her first initial of her last name just basically flipped.
Yeah, Warren to Warren.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because it felt right, I also got their astrological signs.
Of
She's
course
an
you did.
Aquarius, which feels odd.
Yeah.
I mean, yes but no. Because she's a little more of the, like, worker of the two. He's more of the showsman.
Yes.
And she's just kind of held back, like, has the actual powers type person. But Lorraine actually grew up Lorraine actually grew up knowing that she had psychic and clairvoyant abilities.
Okay.
She started to figure this out when she saw an angel at the hospital, but no one believed her, and then she was continuously mocked by her peers.
Don't you love that?
Yeah. It's just one of those things where, first of all, kids are bitches.
Yeah.
Kids are bitches. And, like, especially during this time, she was born in 1927.
Yeah.
So this would have been 30s.
Yeah.
When she was, like, going through grade school. People didn't give a shit. You could bully the shit out of somebody, like, in front of their parents.
And I mean, not only that, but like anything supernatural was really taboo.
Yeah, you didn't talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like now where like clearly we're talking about our abilities on a podcast that goes out to everybody around the world.
Yeah, it's just like, hey guys.
It's like, so
spooky shit. So despite all that, Lorraine grew up harnessing her gift because she believed it was a gift from God, which I think people forget a lot with the Warrens because they watch the movies. They were super hella religious.
very.
Like, not just a little religious. Like, they didn't just dabble. They were hella religious.
Yeah. Very devout Catholics.
Yeah, and they brought it into everything.
Yeah.
So I just want that to be a reminder to everyone. Hella religious. Which also tracks for the time.
It does.
Doesn't track with what they end up doing.
No. Especially like with some of their cases being like, which I mean, I'm sure we'll get to, but just like some of their cases being like, suspected of like, what is the word I'm looking for?
Like demonic and...
No, like,
Bitch, I don't even know what you're trying to say.
I don't know. Like, like, it's interesting considering that some people, like, honestly believe that they faked a lot of their cases.
Oh, yeah.
You know? So, like, you wouldn't expect a couple or a family to be so heavily religious
And then lie like that.
Exactly. So it's like 2 and 2's not adding up, but somehow we got there.
But who knows? We'll get into all of it because I have a controversy at the end.
I'm sure you do.
So we'll talk about all of those.
You got your soapbox ready?
Oh, I have it right here. It's all polished and ready to go. I'm getting through how they are as people before I pull it out and stand up and yell out like a town crier. Lorraine also recalled being able to see people's auras at 9. And she just assumed this was like a normal thing that everyone could do. I feel like I can see them sometimes.
I can't.
But I know some people who all the time can see them.
I can't. Sometimes I wish I could, considering that I feel like it would have saved me a lot of heartbreak, especially over the last couple of years. But, I mean, then again, you even said that you were fooled by a couple people that I brought into our lives. And
yeah, there's a couple of people that I've seen it change for, which are people who just end up being, like, really great manipulators in general.
Yeah.
But I feel like for the most part, I get a good... I wouldn't even say auras, like, I get their vibe, almost. Yeah, I don't know.
I get that. I don't know.
It's less of, like, I see a color and I get a feeling off of them.
Okay, I can see that. Because I feel like that's the same with me, too. But it's not as frequent. Yeah. If that makes sense.
I live for vibes. I'm a vibe queen.
I know you are.
So it makes sense that
I know you are.
That I just feel everyone's vibe.
Especially coming from the person who talks to literally everybody.
Yeah.
When we leave the house.
Yeah, and I probably say the word vibe at least once a day.
Probably.
Yeah.
I think we need to start doing like a tracker.
How many times just say vibe in a week?
And then turn it into a drinking game. Obviously, once you're not pregnant.
Everyone would get so drunk. Yes. So I just added this little thing in because I thought it was cute. A fun fact about Lorraine is that she collected bells.
That's an interesting collection, but that's really cute.
I do. I like it a lot. I couldn't figure out if there was like a specific reason for bells, but it also feels very churchy. Because when I think of a church, my immediate thought, other than trauma, is big giant bells.
Snuck that one right in. I was not ready for that. I wasn't ready for that one. Because, I mean, you're not wrong.
I'm so funny.
You got me on that one. I won't lie. I won't lie. You got me on that one. That was a good one.
But yes, collected bells. Very wholesome. Very cutesy. Very demure.
I hate that word so much.
Now let's get into somebody who's a little less cutesy.
All right.
Edward Ed Warren was born September 7th, 1926. So he was a Virgo.
That explains a lot.
Yeah. He grew up and had a mostly normal childhood, but his father was extremely strict and possibly abusive. Like, some say that he wasn't, he was just strict. Some say that he was abusive. But, like, it was the 1920s and 30s. He was probably beating him.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real.
Probably, like, borderline here.
I mean, like...
Maybe past that borderline.
I mean, like, I'm sure if you looked at it at the times, you would be like, oh, yeah, that's a total acceptable way to punish your child.
Yeah.
But if you did it now, you'd be like, can you stop beating the shit out of that child? Great,
basically.
Thanks.
Yeah.
During his childhood, Ed was attacked by a supernatural entity. During his childhood, Ed was attacked by a supernatural entity that was under his bed. Which, literally monsters under your bed? What the fuck?
Yeah, that's every kid's worst nightmare.
Right? It's like literally come to life. Like, what the fuck?
I mean, I've had like one of my dolls or like toys. I wouldn't call it a doll. It was like a toy. I had it come to life.
I mean, but that's different than a full-on entity.
I don't know, this thing
living
fucking
under
creeped me
your
out.
bed.
I mean, you're not wrong, yeah.
Yeah. That's a whole other
It's a
creepy
whole other
thing.
Yeah, I'll tell that story if anyone wants me to tell it later on.
Yeah, but this was like a literal monster living under his bed. No thanks.
No, thank you.
Hard pass.
Could you imagine being the parent to that child that has a literal monster under their bed?
No. And Ed's father, like, didn't know how to handle it either. Because he did not believe him and told him to just face his fears.
Of course.
Which, I mean, like, again, a normal response, if you don't believe in anything supernatural, and you think your kid's just trying to get out of bedtime by being like, there's a demonic presence under my bed. It's like, yeah, Timmy, go to bed now.
Yeah.
And so Ed ended up taking his father's advice and scared the entity off with a crucifix.
I mean, it worked.
I mean, resilience, my guy.
You know, there you go.
Love it.
Better than what I probably would have done. I don't know.
I mean, fuck it. You got the job done, so here we are.
There you go. You lived. You survived.
So what my biggest question always was how did these two meet? Because every time you hear about them, it's always them together.
Yeah.
It's never their meet cute. And this is like the only time we'll talk about their meet cute, because we'll get into the opinions at the end. Again, I'm trying to keep my soapbox right here, keep it nice and shiny until I have to get up on it. But they actually met as teenagers, surprisingly enough.
Oh, okay.
I know. I was also shocked like that. I thought they would be in their 20s. But
Yeah.
no.
So, like, high school sweethearts?
Yeah. So Lorraine went to a movie theater, and Ed was actually working at the movie theater.
Oh.
Yeah. On their first date, Ed took Lorraine to the park near the movie theater. It began raining, and the two took shelter in a gazebo where they fell in love. Which,
Cute.
how? Yeah, like, what a fucking cute,
Like, movie
romantic.
moment.
Yes. Like, 100%. If they put that in the movies, because first of all, I can never remember their names. I can see their faces. The actors who play them.
Oh, yeah. God. What is it? Verma Fergira or
Yeah.
something like that.
And
however
Raoul.
That's how we know him.
Yeah.
Raoul from Phantom of the Opera.
Yeah, but the two of them, if they like added in their meet cute and their first date,
Oh my god, everybody would love that.
it's people already love them as a couple in the movies.
Yeah.
But if
Because,
they
I mean,
added
they
that
obviously
in,
romanticize it, but...
they added that in, just yum, 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 yum. Like, people would eat it up.
This is true. Yeah, I would eat it up.
I would too.
I
I'd be
mean-
like, what the fuck? That's so goddamn... I was reading it and I was like, shit, that's cute.
Yeah, like, I mean, especially knowing how they were in, like, real life, but to know that like, exact moment that they knew when they both fell in love, to, like, have that picture-perfect, like, movie moment.
As teenagers.
Yeah, like, everybody wishes they could have that.
Just like, oh, I love it. Put a little bow on it. Perfect.
Cute.
And then we move on. Ed entered into the Navy on his 17th birthday. After a few months, the ship that Ed was on collided with an oil tanker in the North Atlantic.
Oh, shit.
A fire erupted, and all the men on the ship jumped overboard. As Ed was in the icy water, he prayed for help and was soon rescued. Which, like, amazing you were just able to survive that. First of all, you're 17.
Yeah.
It's months after you start.
Yeah.
And this happens?
Yeah. You're basically his first deployment, I'm assuming.
Literally, like, all he knows
Yeah.
about the Navy is this?
Wow.
The fuck?
That's crazy. And then the fact that he didn't become hypothermic in that water.
That he happened to live.
Yeah. That's impressive.
Or that he didn't explode. Or catch on fire.
Yeah.
Or get eaten by a shark. Taken away by pirates. Who knows? After that experience, he returned home and asked Lorraine to marry him. They were married in 1945. How old would that have made them? They would have been 29? No, 19?
45. You said she was born in
20.
27.
He was born in 26.
So
yeah, 19 and
18, 19. Yeah.
But yeah, so they would have been 18 and 19 when they got married.
That's so young.
Yeah. But I mean, after all that, you're high school sweethearts.
And it was more common back then to get married that young.
Yeah, I was going to say, it was also the 40s.
Yeah.
Which was just like the thing that you did. Your sweetheart comes back from almost being murdered and you marry his severely traumatized ass. It's just what you did.
What you do.
6 years later, in 1951, the couple had their only child, Judy Warren. So let's see, 6 years later.
Yeah.
They would have been 24 and 25.
Yeah.
So married at 18 and 19 and had Judy at 24 and 25. Which, I mean, they waited 6 years.
Standard.
I think that's pretty good.
I wonder, like, part of me has always wondered why they only had one kid. And
we'll get into probably why.
Okay. Because, I mean, considering that, like, the time, you know, like, it wasn't normal to have just one kid during that time. So, and then not only that, but, like, especially considering how religious they are, and like with Catholicism, like one of the biggest things is that a marriage is to multiply.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. Like, I just wondered if it was like something to do with like Lorraine's like vision stuff, or like if there was like something medical, or it was just a preference. Like, yeah. I've just been curious about that.
Yeah, and I mean, like, there's a lot of stuff that we'll go over right now that happened, and that could have like offset it. Like, they just didn't want to bring more kids into that.
Which, understandable.
It could just be a medical thing, because again, they waited 6 years.
Yeah.
That wasn't a normal thing.
Yeah.
By that point, I don't want to say should have, but of the times would usually have
like
2 or 3 kids by that point.
Yeah.
If you'd been married for 6 years.
Yeah.
So who knows? It could have been a mixture of all 3.
Yeah, it could have been a combination of things.
Que sera. So after getting out of the military, Ed also went to Yale's subsidiary art school, Perry Art School, which I didn't know they had.
I didn't either.
Maybe that was just an at the time things, but I was like, oh, okay.
Interesting.
So then after he does this art school thing, the couple decides to travel around and try is the key word in this sentence, try to make a profit off of Ed's paintings. Mm-hmm. Because let's be real. You don't make profit off your paintings until you're dead.
Most of the time, yes.
90% of the time.
Yep.
Even good painters.
Yep.
You die, your art goes up. It's just life. Que sera.
One of them cut their ear off because of how frustrated they were.
Don't even, because I'm going to cover him at some point. I forget what other podcast covered it. And there's like a true crime element to it.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No, I did not.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited. I want to cover it. It's so good because it blew my fucking mind.
The only reason I know about some of it, like, I don't know everything. The only reason I know that part of it, like the true crime element to it, is because my mom's an artist.
That's insane. He was 100% murdered. Just by the way, guys, 100% murdered.
Yeah.
I believe it with my whole chest.
Anywho,
artists don't make shit.
Yeah, no, they don't.
But Ed and Lorraine would also stop at haunted spots because, again, they're 2 crazy kids who found each other in this world, who both can see shit and feel shit.
I want to know what that conversation was like, especially for Lorraine. Because I have trouble with it to this day.
Yeah, especially in, like, the 30s and 40s when they were together. It's like, how?
Yeah, and, like, how Ed was so okay with it and was like, let's make a business out of this.
Yeah. I don't know. I want to know how they just started talking about it to each other.
Like, to be the fly on the wall in that conversation.
Just like, hey, I see shit. You see shit? I also see shit. What shit do you see? Like,
I wonder if it was like that.
Yeah. I mean,
exactly
they probably
like
didn't
that.
say shit because it was the 30s and 40s. I'm probably embellishing here, but
I'm pretty sure people still said shit in the 30s and 40s.
not the way I do. Anyway, back to this.
Yep.
So they would stop at haunted locations because, duh.
Why not?
And these stops, especially the ones throughout New England, became inspiration for Ed's art.
Okay.
Hold on. I want to take a second. I haven't actually looked at any of Ed's art. I'm curious. I can see it.
Yeah.
Like, especially, I'll post these on the Instagram too. But like these ones on the left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Yeah, big spook vibes.
Yeah.
Big spook.
Big spook?
Big spook. No, thank you. Don't care for that. But yeah, now looking at it, I can definitely see it. 100%.
Yeah.
Little spooky.
A little bit.
A little bit. Don't really care for it. Get weird vibes from it. But he loved art. And I'm not saying he was good at it, but he loved it. He's a better painter than I am. I can't paint shit. I'm crafty, but I am not artistic.
You are crafty, yeah.
There is a difference. So with all of this going on, all of their hauntedness, they're seeing shit, like, it's a whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
They ended up starting the New England Society for Psychic Research in 1952. This is the oldest paranormal research organization in the country. And I actually also have this on my list of things to cover.
I was going to ask, I was like, isn't this one of your other topics?
It's really cool. It's pretty interesting. Because there's this one, and then there's the actual, like, England one.
Yeah.
Which was started by Sir Francis Conan Doyle.
Yes.
Who also wrote Sherlock Holmes.
Yes.
Which is so wild. He could be, let's be real, he could be a whole episode in and of his own.
Probably.
But, like, if you haven't listened to Rituals, Em and Christine from And That's Why We Drink did this little short thing through Spotify. And one of the things they covered was Sir Arthur Conan Doyle and the Society for Cyclical Research.
Yeah.
But the English one.
Ah.
Yes. Very good.
Interesting.
Highly suggest listening to them. I'll get to it eventually. I promise. In 1970, the couple's first big case was Annabelle the Haunted Doll, which we actually covered in episode 32.
We did.
And Jen does a really good job, so, like, go listen to it. But
Thanks.
You're welcome. I know. I'll insult you later to make up for the compliment I gave you. Don't worry.
I wouldn't be surprised. To be quite honest, the compliments come in insults now.
It's called balance.
I don't think we actually ever really compliment each other anymore.
Okay, fine. By the way, you're gay, just so you know.
Really? What gave it away?
The kissing women. Anyways. But real quick recap, in case you're like, nah, fuck that episode. Tell me right now. Annabelle is a haunted doll who caused some people to die.
Yes.
And then was taken to the Warrens Haunted Museum for safekeeping, where it lives to this day.
And continues to get blessed every week.
Yeah, terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're like, that's not enough information, fuck yourself. Go listen to episode 32.
Yes.
Other major cases that the Warrens covered were the Conjuring House, the Amityville House, which we will be covering
Next, actually.
I think so. I think it's coming out next.
I think I think the way the schedule is, it should be coming out right after this episode or the one after that.
I'll make sure it happens now.
Well, there we go.
The Enfield Poltergeist,
which we also covered. Yeah, we covered in the collab with
with our friends at Horror Hour with the Hannahs.
There we go.
Because we went over the case with us, and then we watched the movie and did
because we watched The Conjuring 2.
Yes.
We did the recap with them for The Conjuring 2, and that is basically based on the Enfield Poltergeist.
We're just plugging all of our shows. So be sure to come listen to us. And be sure to also listen to Horror Hour with the Hannahs, because we had a lot of fun on that episode.
Yeah, that was a lot of great fun on that collab.
Anyways, so more things that they did.
Yes.
Were the Smurl Haunting in Connecticut,
Love that movie.
and the Devil Made Me Do It case, which I would love to cover also.
I believe that's actually the next one coming out, or it just came.
I think it just came out.
That was the third one, I believe, of the Conjuring series.
Which
The
is
Devil
so
Made Me Do
weird
It.
that they did that one, because it feels like it doesn't fit with the other two.
Right?
It's so specific. I think it was the end of their career too. Was the Devil Made Me Do It case.
I think so. Yeah. So that was the very last one that was covered with the Conjuring. I don't know. I forgot which one is coming up next, because there's a Conjuring 4 coming out.
Haunting in Connecticut?
I don't think so, because there's like a standalone of Haunting of Connecticut
Oh, maybe.
already.
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have opinions on the Devil Made Me Do It case also. But that's why I just want that one to have its own episode.
There we go.
Because yikes.
Oh, trust me, we'll have for those who know anything about Amityville, people are gonna have opinions about it.
A lot of opinions.
Yeah.
At the end of the Warrens' careers, they focused on passing on their knowledge. They actually passed a lot of it on to their daughter Judy and their son-in-law.
Yeah.
Who they both run the Warren organization now.
Yep.
Which I think, like, cutesy.
Yeah.
Love it.
I love that they're continuing on her parents' legacy.
Yeah. I mean, which doesn't happen a lot, so I like that it's still going strong.
Yeah.
Ed passed in 2006. Lorraine continued to do lectures and consulted on the Conjuring movies until her death in 2019.
Wow.
Yeah, so she lived 13 years longer than him,
Wow.
which is fucking insane.
It is. I mean,
Men always die first.
yeah, like I mean, no, seriously,
Yeah.
there's a study that came out saying that for men whose wives pass, if they don't get married within 2 years of their wife's passing, more than likely they'll die right after that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, 2 years. Men cannot be alone for 2 years.
They just disintegrate.
Basically. As to where they've seen that women have gone over 15 years without even looking at another man. Like, my grandmother who just passed away, she was without my grandpa for 19 years. My grandma, who's still alive with dementia right now, it's been 20 years since my grandpa passed away.
That's insane. And men can't get through 2 fucking years.
That's the average, yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Right?
All right. Well, with that, let's get into these sweet, sweet, juicy controversies.
Oh, yes, let's.
So the first one that I think most people know about is that all of the cases are hoaxes.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is staged and everything's put on, which I can see both sides of.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly because I believe that Ed was a great salesman,
Yes.
but Lorraine actually had clear, viable abilities.
Yes.
I think Ed just learned the things he needed to learn to then support Lorraine because he realized he wasn't going to make money doing art.
Yeah. He definitely became a showman with it. Could sell anything regarding it.
Like, Zach Bagans is a modern day Ed Warren, and I say it all the time.
100%. Yeah. It's a great example of a modern day Ed Warren.
I see it all the time. Every time I watch Ghost Adventures, I'm like, this is how I imagine Ed would be in modern times.
Yeah, honestly, like, I'm sure if reality TV was a thing at that time, they would have had a camera crew going and, like, they would have done all of this for a TV show.
Oh, yeah. So the other reason that people say that these are hoaxes is because when this information was turned into books, the writers tended to embellish
Yes.
a lot of the information instead of actually putting the information that were in the case studies or there would be information missing in the case studies that then the writers would embellish when they were putting the book together.
Yeah. I know Amityville is a very big, and The Conjuring also, and the Enfield Poltergeist are some of the cases that have been taken by the media and exploded across different platforms. Obviously, like we've mentioned that there are movies of those. Haunting of Connecticut, there's another one that Hollywood just kind of takes and tries to make a better story.
Which they even say on there based off of... Like, it's something that's like, hey, we're basing this off of things...
Yeah, like it's
that
structured.
Are based off of... It's like a third-hand source, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like... Or like it'll say a story based off of a true event, but it even says a story or a telling or like, you know, anything like that. Like you can tell that when not everything's going to be real.
Yeah. So like take it with a grain of salt. Obviously, hauntings are real. You and I fully believe that.
Yes.
But at the same time, they have to be Hollywood. They have to make it a bigger deal.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is.
Because that's how they sell tickets.
Yeah. They sell movies. They sell tickets.
They sell merch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which brings us into our second controversy.
Ah, okay.
Because it has to do with the movies. So I'm going to, before I say this controversy, I'm going to start it off with Lorraine had it put in the contract for those movies, which we love, the couple in the movies.
Yes.
They're great. They're very cutesy. Like, you can tell they're in love.
Yes.
But Lorraine had it put in the contracts that for anything depicting them, they would be shown as being in a happy marriage. And specifically, it would show nothing having to do with an affair.
That's very specific.
Very specific. Very odd.
Yeah.
Why do you need to feel the need to put that in there?
Yeah.
That's because a woman named Judith Penny claimed in 2017 that she had a 40-year sexual relationship with Ed when she was a teenager. Starting when she was a teenager.
My thing is, why wait all that time to say something?
Stigma, waiting for Ed to pass. Wait,
He passed in 2006.
I mean, there could just be multiple reasons.
I mean, that's fair. Like, I could understand waiting until they passed, but I feel like this allegation came out when the movie started to make money.
I mean, I would too. I think I would be ashamed of it at that up to that point. But if they start making money, it'd be like, okay, well, now's the time.
Because in that sense, Ed had already been dead for 11 years. And then not only that, I'm pretty sure Haunting of Connecticut actually came out in like 2009. Or like the most recent one.
First one was 2013 with The Conjuring.
Okay.
But
I wasn't too far off.
But at that point, that's even 4 years after. So if you're trying to just get on the bootleg of fame, why not do it closer to that movie coming out?
I mean, that's fair, but also I think the second movie came out around that time too.
I don't know. Did they have NDAs during that time? Maybe she had an NDA that wore out.
It's possible. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I don't know if it would be called NDAs around that time, but like it would be like a legal contract.
Yeah. Well, so Judith is claiming that as a teenager, Ed saw her and essentially groomed her.
Okay.
She lived in a house. I've seen sources that say she lived in their house or she lived in a house, like a little cottage shed in the back of their property. But essentially started living there when she was 16, 17 years old.
Okay.
And that's when she started having relations with Ed. And at one point, she was pregnant with Ed's baby, and Lorraine, who knew about this whole arrangement, talked her into getting an abortion. Because it was right when they were starting to make money
Okay.
and get famous with all their cases, and they couldn't risk like it coming out that Ed has a love child with his teenage lover.
I mean, if that really did happen, that's really fucked up.
It's one of those things where it's like, I don't want to say you're wrong because I don't want to think that somebody would come up with such a blatant lie about a dead man like that.
Yeah.
You know, like that's quite the allegation to make.
Especially for someone who can't defend himself.
Yeah, that's quite the allegation to make about somebody who's dead, that he groomed you.
Yeah.
You had a 40-year relationship with you, that his wife knew about it the whole time, and that you were forced into getting an abortion.
Yeah.
That's a lot. I don't like to think that somebody could do that, but we have all heard of Amber Heard. So,
Not wrong. And I mean, especially about, like, for me personally, I think it's a little hard to hear that of, like, Lorraine, even the possibility of Lorraine forcing a young girl to have an abortion, considering that Catholics are known for a pro-life stance.
yeah.
Like, most Catholics will agree with a pro-life stance on the subject than anything else.
But I could also see they were starving artists for so long. They're finally starting to make a name for themselves. They're making money. They are having money that they can now actually support their daughter
Yeah.
and all of this stuff that they've been wanting. And then this big thing comes out of nowhere.
That's true. I don't know.
Not every Catholic is perfect, so
This is true. And I mean,
I mean,
obviously,
technically, Ed wasn't even supposed to be doing the exorcisms in the first place. He was not ordained to do so. So, you know?
yeah, no. I mean, I guess, like, for some people, like, who have that image of them, like, of how they are portrayed in the movies, like, it would be hard to, like, hear all this stuff or, like, don't want to believe it. But I mean, obviously, we don't know what happened behind closed doors. Obviously, we don't know what happened in that past, whether this woman's story is true. If it is, like, my heart goes out to you. Like, so sorry that that happened to you and that you were forced into that kind of situation. But at the same time, if it wasn't, then, like, you're ruining a dead man's reputation for no good reason.
Other than probably money.
Yeah. So that's interesting, though, that clause is put in there into the movies.
It's just one of those things where, in my mind, I'm like, well, if nothing like that happened, why does that need to be added? Because this was added into the contracts before the first movie came out.
I mean, I could see why she would want that clause in there, because if it didn't happen, but the rumor of it is out there, Hollywood could try to, like, manipulate it a little bit and be like, oh, this actually happened. You know, that type of thing. Like, they might want to dramatize it.
But at the same time, okay, so the first Conjuring comes out in 2013.
Yeah.
So that means Lorraine probably would have had to sign a deal the latest 2010. This woman didn't come out saying anything until 2017.
I don't know. That's fair. I
So
don't
my
know.
thing is,
Maybe
like,
there have been past allegations or, like, past rumors
Yeah,
that just weren't as big.
maybe. I don't know. I just think it's sus
Yeah,
that you then have to put that in.
It's definitely an interesting point, for sure. That's an eyebrow raiser, for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, so my quick soapbox on the Warrens.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah, because now we're at the end. We've
You
gone
got
over
it.
all the controversy.
You got it ready?
Yeah.
You're on it?
Yes.
Comfortable?
Yes.
Okay, great.
People love the Warrens,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's bullshit. Like, don't get me wrong. I love them. I love that the attention that they brought to the paranormal world.
Mm-hmm.
However, people tend to put them on this pedestal as, oh my gosh, they were this amazing couple who did all these amazing things. No. One was a showman He was able to put shit on. He was a great talker. He was a master manipulator. And one had abilities that then they saw the ability to profit off of.
Yes.
Do I think that all of their cases are 100% real? No. I think a lot of it they embellished for money.
Probably.
Which fair. But also I think people give them too much credit as paranormal investigators when there are much, much better paranormal investigators. It's the same reason I get mad about Zach Bagans, just to be fair. Zach Bagans gets way too as a paranormal investigator when it's just he is literally the loudest in the room. That's all they are, is the loudest in the room. They're not the best. They are just the loudest. Now I'm going to put the soapbox away, and this is the end of the Warrens.
Got it? You good?
Yes.
Got it all off your chest?
Yes, I'm good now.
Okay, great. You ready for a disturbing fact then?
No.
Well, too bad.
Well, fuck me.
Let's get that ready. All right. I actually need to find some new facts, so if anybody wants to submit some, because I'm running low on them right now. I haven't done more research. I should probably do that.
I'm sure there's so many you could terrify me with.
Probably, yeah. We'll do this one, though. You ready?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
So, apparently, the probability you'll die on your birthday is 14 times higher than any other day of the year.
Why?
I don't know. It's a great question.
You and I are math people.
No.
A math person, please explain it to me.
Like, could you imagine? So like,
no, I can't.
So, like, do you know what specific time you were born at?
Yes, because I have it down on my astrology app, but I don't know off the top of my head. I think it's like 8:40. See, I get mine and Mumu's confused. Because one of us is 8:45 and one of us is 8:32.
Okay.
So I get confused. I think mine is 8:32.
Okay. In the morning or at
night?
At night. Okay. Yeah. See, and mine was at 4:51 in the morning.
Okay.
The reason I know that is because every year my mother calls me at 4:51 on my birthday.
Oh, very Gilmore Girls.
Mind you, being in different time zones.
So she's like calling you at like 2 o'clock in the morning.
She's calling me at 2 a.m. Yeah. But yeah, could you imagine, like, if you know the exact time that you were born, and then could you imagine that you die on your birthday at the exact time that you were born? Like,
it's like, well, happy birthday.
Right?
You did.
But, like, could you imagine something like that? Like, finding out someone died at the same time that they were born at, on, like, same day, everything. Like, that's just absolutely insane to think about.
That is, yeah. I genuinely wonder why it's 14 times more likely.
I don't know.
Somebody who's mathy.
Yeah, let
figure it out.
Us know.
I want to know. I'm legit curious.
Yeah, and I want to avoid dying on my birthday.
I don't know if you have a choice in that.
I mean, with the way that I think I'm gonna die, I think I have a little bit of a choice.
I'll fucking come there and do CPR and you'll be like, she can't. She needs a couple more minutes.
Do you even know how to do CPR?
No. But I'll keep people off you long enough that they can't pronounce you dead and give you a time of death. Because I'll just be in the way like a fucking problem that I am.
Oh, look, it's 11:11.
Make a wish. Don't make it a shitty one.
Huh?
Don't make it a shitty one.
I didn't make it a shitty one.
Okay, good.
Did you make a wish?
I did.
Okay, great.
Okay. And with that, if you like whatever the fuck this is, be sure to head over to our Instagram. Be sure to like and review. Be sure to do all the things. Be sure to listen to all of those episodes that we told you. So that was like episode 32 with Annabelle. And I don't know the number, but our collab with Horror Hour with the Hannahs. And then run on over to Horror Hour with the Hannahs and listen to their episode and like their back catalog, because they're also great. And with that, like, don't die on your birthday. It's a little weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe don't do it.
Don't do it. Bye.
These are rumbly in my tummy.
Just focus on breathing.